the band play.
100K on the protect, living life with no regrets. These out when I get dressed. Summertime, I'm with a fresh. Put a leg behind her head. Night, she gonna bed. Bye-bye. Every day it's a new test. I just keep chasing these chicks. Living life with no regrets. Living life with no regrets.
Sled Talk listeners, welcome back to episode 14. Appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you are on iTunes Podcast, Spotify, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, wherever you may be. Appreciate you guys being here with us. And if you're watching, you will see a familiar face. We have returning guest Travis Norton back here with us for this next episode. And this one's going to be a tad bit different than any of the other ones that we've ever done. Again, like I said, if you are watching this, you will see that we have the computer set up here with a little
big things,
something on the screen here. So today's topic is going to be all about the 2023 Summit X with Expert Package new sled release that just came out. Let's see, today is
Valentine's Day, so 2 days ago.
Okay, so pretty fresh. And so I thought, well, actually, it wasn't even my idea. Travis reached out to me because he's a diehard Skidoo guy and was like, hey, I think we should do a podcast talking about this new sled. And so I said, sick, come over tomorrow. And he's here. So, Travis, thank you for making the trip over here and coming back to another episode to be here with us again. I know that you've got your phone pulled up there and you've got a list of a few things to go over. So we're going to start off with some of the things, and I think this will probably be really relatable to a lot of the listeners as far as some of the things that you are wanting, whether you're a Skidoo guy, Polaris guy, whatever it may be, that you guys are wanting these manufacturers to make changes and updates to, the new year model. And so Travis, you did exactly that. You have a list there of some of the things that you wanted some changes to be made, right? Or that you wanted Skidoo to make. And this list that you're about to read off to us and that we're about to go through was all created prior to this release.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep. Yeah, this was mostly stuff I've been putting in my phone this year. Having that new Matrix chassis out, thinking like, hey, this is what I want to see Skidoo come out with. And Thanks again for having me on the podcast. Enjoyed doing it last time, so let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was a long breath on my part. I didn't even let you say hi.
Oh, no worries. But so here's the list I got really quick. I'm trying to keep my phone lit up. I don't want it to go away and have to put the passcode in again. So things that I thought might happen on the Gen 5 Skidoo. First one was a 15-inch track, was something that I thought was going to come to that. And mainly just worrying about narrowing up that tunnel, getting it tighter, getting it, more like the Polaris, more like a dirt bike.
Everybody wants to be like Polaris.
Everybody. They have some good parts on their snowmobile, yes.
Totally. Every sled does.
Yep.
I don't care.
Arctic Cats are great.
Brand. Yeah, huh?
Yeah, they're awesome. Alphas. So I thought they might move the brakes out of the running board area too, like the Polaris where they don't have the brake on the running board. Another thing that I liked on the Matrix was that new cooler where it's up underneath the seat. You're not getting that snow buildup was something that Muskoka was showing us between the dew and the poo. I wanted to get a better display with the GPS like the Polaris. I want that PID, the way that you can see the breadcrumbs, see your buddies. We've all seen that work out in the wild.
Yep.
We're like, hey, that's awesome. You can see where you need to go, get to your buddies. Just a great deal. Next thing was just a small headlight. Just wanted a little teeny tiny LED light on it. That's all we need. We don't need a big old bulky housing. Since I thought they were going to go 15-inch track, I thought they were going to sell us all new gas cans and make a whole new accessory lineup that we're going to have to spend a bunch of money on to replace everything. But they didn't do that. Just
like when a new iPhone comes out, they change all the stuff, then you have to buy all new accessories and crap for it.
Exactly. Nothing's going to fit. No, that doesn't work no more.
Yeah.
Let's see. I thought that they would leave the torsion bar skid and just change up the geometry, make it a little bit better, a little bit heavier, more robust setup. Narrow up the panels, obviously, narrow up everything on the sled, narrow up the running boards,
right.
Just try to get that tighter package and also clean up the cockpit a little bit. Something I can appreciate on the Polaris is just really clean around your knees. Not a lot to hit your knees on.
Right.
A lot of space to work. And the toe hold. I do like that there's the toe hold in there. That's something that you can definitely use.
Sure.
Thought they might narrow up the P drive clutch and maybe change that QRS secondary where you have to pull the whole shaft out. Something that not a big deal, but it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Right.
Once you know how to do it, it's okay. But
Sure.
something I've been dealing with since 2008. They've had that whole hollow shaft going through the clutch, and you pull the whole thing out.
Okay.
Easier access to the engine. I like the way the Polaris opens up. You can pull the hood and side panels off, and it's all there.
Right.
You got to work on those things, so you got to make sure you can get access to that.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
That's at least what I told my friends. Like, I don't need to get my hood off. I'm not going to work on this thing. Even though I was jealous of the Polaris guys just popping their hoods off.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought they'd do belt drive, change up the plastics and latches. And I also thought that they might come out with like a smart shocks, the electronically controlled valving for mountains. So that's kind of the list of things I thought, hopes and dreams for the Gen 5. And
Sure.
BRP checked a whole lot of those boxes.
Yeah. Huh? Well, let's, is that the end of your list?
That is.
Okay. So then let's figure out exactly which of those boxes they did check. Right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start off. If you guys are not watching this, I'll reiterate, but we've got the computer screen pulled up here and we're looking at a schematic of, it looks like the top 6 points that for new and updated changes and whatnot. So, Travis, let's start off with number 1, right? So it says here, Rev Gen 5 deep snow platform. So lighter, narrower, and more refined for improved technical riding and a next level experience that's all about spending unforgettable days in the deep stuff.
Deep stuff.
That's
what we want. Yeah. So this picture kind of sums it up right here. You can see the narrower bodywork in that. The narrower running board, and we're 3 inches narrower.
I was just going to say, I was wondering, I thought I had heard or seen something on social that it was about 3 inches, which is
that's a lot.
Decent amount for sure.
So along with that running board, they narrowed up that paneling. The clutch cover itself integrated into that side panel. That's just the way it needed to be.
Right. Because you guys were, and for listeners and viewers, right, like, if you've seen some of the past, you guys know that I ride Polaris, and I haven't spent more than 5 minutes on a Skidoo, but I have kind of collected that your guys' panels do drag a little bit prior to this new.
Yep.
They're not quite as wide anymore, so that should make a decent difference for you guys.
So that's going to help on the paneling out. Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's going to help on the paneling out, which I think also that paneling out was also making the track wash out a little more too.
Got it.
You kind of get the T-motion, the flex edge, a little more panel. You're losing track in the snow.
Yep.
So that was also part of the slide out problem that I think those sleds could have.
Sure.
Also, they changed that ski up a little bit too. So the design on that new DS4 ski, whatever they're calling it, it's a little shorter on the back, a little less drag going there. Also, the cooler in the rear there, it's very similar style of cooler, but it says that it is carrying less coolant in it altogether, which I think that's probably going to be fine. I haven't had any overheating issues, even with my expert package being that short tunnel and no flap. So I think we're probably good there. And I believe that I saw the spare belt is going to be stored behind the seat. It's not going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be stored not underneath
Back
the hood.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yep. So I think I did see something showing a little plastic box to put your belt in back there.
Nice.
You also have the glove box still, which they maintain. That's a good deal. That heated glove box up there. Got a choice.
A big difference.
Yeah, that is a big difference. Keep gloves, phones, GoPros, whatever it is you need to keep warm. And I also think that when you look at it, the switches are a little bit smaller than before. You can't see it in this picture, but
right, like on the handlebars and stuff. You mean?
Yep.
Okay.
And I think some of the switches may be removed now too. When you get the big display, I think there's a little bit of touch screen, so it might have removed.
Got it.
Yep. Remove some switches.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the chassis. They shaved 16 pounds off while they were doing all that too.
Right. Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that before we jumped on the podcast here. That's, all of you guys listening and riders, weight is a huge contributor into snowmobiling all the way around. So that's a pretty serious statement.
Yeah, that's
shaving
what
off 16 pounds.
That's what we want. The Gen 4 was getting a little fat. We had to shave her down a little bit, so that's good.
And they accomplished that.
Yeah. Let's move to number 2.
Okay. Yeah, power, baby.
Mo power.
So the Rotax 850 E-Tech Turbo R engine. So this is the most powerful factory-built 2-stroke turbocharged engine in snowmobiling for the next 2 weeks until Polaris comes out with theirs that tops that. Its instant response cranks out a full 180 horse up to 8,000 feet of elevation. Sophisticated design keeps weight down and integrates flawlessly with the Rev Gen 5 chassis for maximum agility. Factory install ensures peace of mind and incredible reliability. So
That's a mouthful.
there's a lot going on there for sure. So let's break it down.
Turbo R. So they have this turbo. It's going on 3, almost 4 years now.
Because Skidoo was the first one to bring a 2-stroke factory, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. 20 and a half mid-season. They brought that factory turbo. It's been great. Power level on it, it's been pretty moderate. 165 or so is what they were calling it before. Now they're cranking up the boost. Boost levels going up to 6.5 pounds of boost, and that's making 180 horsepower. So pretty impressive. You look at the Polaris, you're talking 9 pounds of boost to make that level. And also the Skidoo's doing that at 7,900 RPM. The Polaris is doing that a little more, turning another 300 RPM to make that power.
Got it.
So, that's really doesn't matter that much. I mean, these engines seem to hold together. I don't think anybody's had too much of an issue with these boost sleds so far. But there hasn't been any snow, so no one's really getting them tested.
So nobody even knows.
Yeah, so no one really knows. They just got them, and then it never snowed. So good for them guys.
Right.
Big bummer.
Well, there's still people waiting on sleds.
Yeah.
That haven't even gotten theirs.
Well, they're not missing. They're not missing much.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's
good
true.
for them. You don't really need the boost right now.
Yeah. And even if they had it, they'd just be sitting in the garage looking at it because the snow sucks.
So other things with that engine, 4 engine mounts instead of 3. So holding that engine in a little tighter, keeping that belt more square in there. That's going to keep belt heat down as well. When you get that engine twist in there, that really gets the belt temperatures going up.
Sure.
So you got that, and I don't know what engine changes were made, if there's anything internal for the R where it's the higher horsepower.
Sure.
I do know that they put some different rollers in the secondary, which I have had issues with in the past.
Have you?
And I believe, I've had to change those on NA sleds, and I believe a heavier duty chain in the chain case.
Okay.
I'm sure I'm missing something there. I got as much information in 2 days as I can.
Sure. Right. Okay. Number 3?
Number 3, the track.
So Powder Max X Lite with full width rods. This lighter redesigned track, unique to the Expert package, has a stiffer edge that complements the T-Motion XT for more rigidity in the rear skid.
I like how they call it T-Motion XT, as in they exterminated it. It's not T-Motion. There's no T-Motion there at all.
Right.
It's a rigid skid.
Right.
It's going to be more like the Polaris skid, but it's still that Skidoo geometry with the torsion bars. So we'll see how that works. They deleted the T-Motion, so that's not going to be swinging around, and also the rods in the track are going full width, so the edge of that track is not going to flex the way it did before.
Got it.
And I believe it might be a little lighter. I think they shaved some weight off the track as well. I'm sure that's part of the 16 pounds.
Sure.
And that's pretty much what I know about the skid there.
Yeah. Okay.
1 inch more of travel.
So number 4, the T-Motion XT with rigid rear arm, right? So in addition to 3 pounds of weight savings and increased capacity, the T-Motion XT dons a locked rear arm for more rigidity and technical maneuvers.
Yeah, so this is going to help the predictability.
Sure.
When you're really slaying it, when you're really in the steep, it's just going to give you that predictability. T-Motion, that 4 degrees of sway inside of there, can sometimes upset the sled a direction that you might not want it to go after you've already pulled it. Where when you have that rigid skid, when you get it pulled over, there was a little more initial effort to get it there, but then it holds that line more firmly.
Got it.
In my opinion. From what I've seen.
Okay.
And it saved some more weight. There was 3 pounds for him right there.
The more weight savings we can get, the better. So number 5, a 10.25-inch color touchscreen display with BRP Connect. So a high-resolution infotainment system that puts an interactive, informative, and customizable experience that's both seamless and simple right at your fingertips. First off, I think it's pretty all the way across the board. Polaris and these guys, I think it's pretty cool to have. Like, it's weird to think, not weird, but it's just cool to think that these sleds are getting so much technology on them too. Like, it's pretty dope. So let's dive into this one a little bit. What was your first overall reaction when you watched the reveal video and you saw this screen on there? What was your first reaction to it?
I was like, can I see my Polaris friends on their PID? That was my first reaction. First thing I saw. I saw this big screen. I'm like, I don't care about infotainment. I don't care about Bluetooth. Can I see a map of where I'm going, and can I see the other brands? That's really all I wanted in a display. So to me, I think this is actually a shortcoming here. I think they fell short for me, that at least from the release, they didn't really give me the information that I wanted to hear.
Sure.
As a mountain rider that can navigate with a good screen.
Right.
And it's nice to see where your buddies are if they're stuck.
Yep.
So there's a little bit to be desired here. I've heard you can link your phone up to this and use your GPS on your phone.
Right.
You can keep your phone charged up on the USB ports that are available for them. So maybe there is a way to make this work that I don't know about yet.
Sure.
I guess
if you're listening or watching this and you do know for an absolute fact, comment below about what we're talking about there, because it is interesting, and you and I were touching on it a little bit before we jumped on the mics here, and you brought up a great point of like being able to see the Polaris guys on that screen, right? Because you're not always going to go out and just be riding with Skidoo guys, so I mean, that would be really cool regardless of the manufacturer to be able to see those other sleds and those other buddies, and maybe there's.
Well, it's safety. We're pushing safety more and more every day. Why not have it?
Yep.
Why not have it just like a tether and everything else?
100%. Anything else that you want to jam on in regards to the screen?
That screen, no. It's talking about shot start. We all know about that. Pretty awesome. We like that.
Yeah.
I do know that it requires a small battery if you do have that 10.25 screen. Kind of like the Polaris with the bigger display on it. It takes a little battery in there to keep the memory going and everything.
Sure.
But I think that's pretty much everything on that screen.
Okay. Heck yeah. Well,
let's talk about the dislikes. Let's talk about the dislikes.
Number one, it's a Skidoo, so there's mine. Just kidding.
Until he rides it.
Yeah. I guess the first and biggest obvious one is just because Skidoo is getting torn up on social media right now about their headlights looking like Ninja Turtles.
So they did exactly what I asked them to do.
Right.
I just was like, just give me a little tiny LED.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't need it to look like a Ninja Turtle. It does. Or the green monster lady from Monsters Inc. Yeah, I saw that one. That might be the more accurate one. And I feel like, they may have missed. I don't know. We'll see it when in person, see if it looks cool.
Yeah. They sure look sick from the side.
Yeah, side view is great. Front's a little goofy, but really I'm not riding it for what it looks like.
Yeah.
And like we talked about before, if I am going to go out and order one, I'm going to get the Lynx. If I'm getting a BRB product, I'm going to take the Lynx. It's the shredder. Mm-hmm. It's a better looking machine. So if you don't like the Skidoo, just run on over to the red Skidoo, the Viking Skidoo.
There you go.
I think it's a better looking machine. I like how they did the 3 headlight design on that.
Yep.
There's actually 3 little pods on there. Really interested to see. Another thing on the list was 15-inch track.
Yep.
They put a 15-inch track on the Lynx.
Oh, they did?
So Skidoo has a 16. Lynx is running a 15. They're running that, I believe it's PPS-style skid. Pretty good for mashing and jumping. Mm. And they're also 36 inches wide in the front, so they're not running that 34-inch narrow stance.
Gotcha.
So spec-wise, it's a little closer to like the Polaris, really, on the front end, and maybe a little bit in the rear skid, too.
Have you ridden one of these yet?
Have 0 time on them. 0 time on a Lynx. Need to spend some time on one. Would love to ride it. But from the input I've seen of people jumping on them, they're like, this thing's a basher. You can really get it.
I haven't necessarily heard anything bad. I don't know. I mean, I know one kid, Travis, that's Travis Lindemann, that just got one. But I haven't. I've seen him on the mountain, but just from like social media and just kind of an overall like tone from people, I haven't heard anything bad about him. These Lynxes, like everybody's darn impressed with them. It looks sick. I know. I think it's probably Jeff's favorite sled. Huh?
I think it looks sick.
For some
Shredder.
reason, he's got a little obsession going with the Lynx. It's pretty interesting. It's a good looking sled for sure, and it's cool that they just introduced them here because they're from Finland, right?
Yeah, Finland. Finland or Sweden, one of the two. Both BRP companies, so they're sharing chassis, sharing engine, but they have different theories on suspension and everything from there on out. The Lynx, they're not a lot of groomed trails, I guess, so they're really mashing the bumps a lot and need that good suspension for burning down the trail before they get to the mountain.
Yeah.
So something a little different.
Yeah, so I guess the big question is what's, you kind of said it there a little bit, but so you're going to wait this year, but you're going to get something next year?
Yeah, I think we're going to put the brakes on this year. That's tough.
Yeah.
I know I wanted to go into sales mode and start selling the sled and getting prepped, but we have 1 more year of warranty left on this current sled I have, so we're going to go ahead and run that out. Thinking about maybe getting the kid sled, the little 200 that they came out with. Might pick up one of those. That's pretty cool that they are having that out and available. 120s and 200s. They haven't for a long time.
Yep.
They're the exact same as the Yamaha, but that's cool. I like that they're kind of sharing those platforms. And
totally.
For a little kid, it doesn't matter. They just kind of want it to look like Dad's sled and go from there.
Well, and this is, again, something that you and I were talking about before we jumped on the mics here, too. It seems like quite a while ago, doing the whole kid sled was really big and really popular, and then all of a sudden it kind of just like died out and went away for a while, and now it's kind of really making a comeback. So it's really cool to see, them putting out sleds for the younger generation. I think it's a really, really great thing.
Yep.
100%. Was there, how are we doing on time, Jeff?
Doing great.
How far into it are we?
22 minutes or so.
Okay. I mean, we kind of knew that this one was going to be a little bit shorter.
I got a couple more things to pick on.
Do you? Okay. All right. Well, do you? Okay. Jeez. God, stop yelling at me, guys. Let's go.
We want to know your overall impression.
Overall impression?
Just overall, what?
I'm super pumped. Like, they really hit every mark that I was looking for. I mean, it's 9 out of 10. If it looked cool, which it pretty much does because you can get a Lynx, so I think that one looks cool. They knocked it out of the park. There's still a couple of questions for me, like I talked about with the display.
Yep.
That's something I would like to get figured out. And one of the other dislikes is I do want that narrower. I wanted that brake moved and maybe the chain case moved to narrow that front end up a little bit. And,
Sure.
might be in my head just because everybody talks about it, but it's just something you wanted to see. But I mean, every box was checked on this thing.
Yep.
So
Which is cool.
we'll wait to see when they hit the snow.
Heck yeah. What are some other points you got written down there on your phone that you're?
The Polaris still being lighter. I think that it's still going to be the lightest sled out there.
Yeah. I don't foresee Polaris giving up that title.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Polaris is still going to be lighter. Skidoo's claiming the best power to weight, so we'll see. Like we talked about, Polaris dropped that commercial the next day of a
Yes,
Polaris on a dyno.
Yeah.
Probably blew
in a
up.
dark room.
Hope it was okay. In a
go.
dark room.
Here we go.
Probably leaking oil.
Leaking oil. Oh, jeez.
On the dyno.
Oil cap was leaking. No. So there's probably something coming there. We might see some more pounds of boost coming out of that thing.
Yeah.
You're not going to see too much because last year, they just switched it all up,
Right.
so they're going to be all over that and getting the current sleds out. So wait to see what the boost wars look like.
Yeah. I think it's cool.
It's awesome.
I think it's great. Obviously I prefer Polaris, but at the end of the day, everybody's putting out good sleds, and I think it's dope that everybody is pushing each other, coming out with new advancements, whether it's in technology and power or weight savings, whatever it may be. Like, I just think it's super good that everybody's so competitive and trying to push everybody, and it's just crazy to think back, like, even just in the last couple of years, just the changes that have been made in the last 5 years alone have just been nuts. So it's really exciting. This time of year when everybody starts releasing all the new stuff, everyone's got a pretty good buzz going. It's pretty cool. So, it'll be interesting to see what Polaris drops here in the next 2 weeks.
Yep, 2 weeks.
Whatever it is. Yeah. So
2 weeks into the month.
cool. You got another point?
No, I think I think I hit everything. A little bit about the access. I did see him take that clutch cover off and also take the panel off to just get oil in the machine. They just got a little panel that flips up, pour oil in. That's kind of nice. Don't have to pull the whole side panel off.
Yeah.
And, you know, before the Skidoo panel, you had to mess with these stupid latches, get the door off. Then you had to fight with your clutch cover to get that thing off. And they showed a little video of them pulling off the side panel. That's the integrated cover.
Okay.
And it's like 2 little latches, those guys right there, but on the other side.
Yep.
And it seemed to just pull right off of there. So I'm hoping that the engine access is going to be improved.
Heck yeah. Cool. Okay.
Oh, and that doesn't come with a rear bumper. I love it.
Yeah,
Weight savings right there. Nah, your guys are just going to put a different one on there anyway. We're just going to just leave it off from the factory.
That's funny. Well, cool. Yeah, this was a fun episode to a little bit different of a setup and have the screen here and being able to look at the specs of these different sleds and whatnot. Maybe potentially bring a Polaris guy on when Polaris drops their stuff and kind of do the same kind of thing. But again, Travis, I appreciate you making the trip over here to come jam on all this stuff. I know you absolutely love Skidoo, and so it's cool and exciting to get to share all this stuff with you. Let's if you can think of something, let's end this episode with another Sled Talk question of the day. If you got something that you can think of, probably specific to this, that you want to ask the listeners and viewers and get their comments and engagement, their answers, their opinions.
Yeah, I got it. So what did BRP leave off the list? What did they miss for everybody else? For me, I talked about the gauge, that it might be a shortcoming there. Yeah. They checked so many boxes. What did they leave off for the rest of you guys?
That's a great question. Yeah, some of you guys that had super high hopes that they were going to do something that they did not. So, yeah, leave your comment, leave your answer below, whether you're on TikTok, Instagram, watching this on YouTube, whatever it may be. We want to know. That's going to be exciting to see the comments, see what everybody says. Well, cool. Awesome. Well, let's wrap up this episode. I appreciate you guys again tuning in. If you're listening on podcast platforms, please leave us a review, some star ratings. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button. We're releasing episodes every single Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And again, we'll have all his links to his YouTube channel and all his social platforms in the description. So definitely give Travis a follow. And because inevitably he will be back on the podcast.
Heck yeah.
So
I forgot something.
What is it?
Number 5 right here,
Yeah.
the display and the way the air intake is, it's totally flat.
Yep.
So you can take your hand and just wipe all the snow off the air
Without
intake and the
hitting
gauge
anything.
without hitting anything.
Oh, boy.
Can't believe I forgot that.
Convenience.
Yeah.
That's going to be nice. Cool. Well, that's a good point. We'll end it with that.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on here, Travis. And thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Later.
Summertime on winter fresh. I put her legs behind her head. Night, she gonna bed. Bye-bye. Every day it's a new test. I just keep chasing these chicks.